so it's me again. Yeah, I just finished doing my intro video, so if you would like to know more about what this web series is about, you can just click over here, yes, and just watch my intro video. So, okay, so this first topic. Oh yeah, did I say my name again? Okay, yeah, so my name is Ada, yes. I'm a PhD student at the University of Sheffield in the UK. Yeah, so I would pretty much just talk about what my research entails in this one, and then I would also talk about, I think this first topic would be on my study site. So, location. Yeah, so, okay, my research is on the stress and ability to afford assisted reproductive treatment. That is, the stress and ability for infertile, or what I would like to term subfertile patients, to assess, treatment. So that's patients who cannot have a child after trying for several months or years. Eventually go on to a treatment called assisted reproductive treatment, and then it's pretty much like, I'm quite sure a lot of you know about IVF and things like that, and what was formerly known as artificial insemination, but it's now actually called intrauterine insemination, and that's IUI, and another called intracytoplasmic sperm injection, which is also another form of assisted reproductive treatment. And yeah, my study is a comparative one between the UK and Nigeria. And right now I'm in Nigeria. So particularly Benin City in Edo State of Nigeria. So I'm going to talk about my study location, why I chose the location, and just basic gist about being a young researcher in Benin City. Okay, so oh yeah, if I keep looking down this way, it's because I've got some of my notes here. So I just kind of want to go in a systematic approach. Okay, so Benin City, why did I choose it? I didn't choose it. My supervisor did. Yes, he attended the University of Benin, and he worked here for a while. So he had the connections to, to get me started here, and it was pretty. I'll say I won't call it easy to get it done, but it was relatively convenient because he already knew a lot of people here, and so he knew that I would be able to get as much help as possible because he is familiar with a lot of the staff and doctors here. Yeah, so that was the reason Benin City was considered. I obviously considered Abuja, which is where I originally live, or where my parents live, and it would have been a lot easier for me because I would have just been going from home. But at the same time, it would not have been as convenient because I wouldn't have been able to get as much of the help as I needed, even though my supervisor obviously is quite famous in Nigeria, and he knows some people in Abuja, but it would not have been convenient for me, and I wouldn't have gotten as much help as I am getting now. So that was why we just decided on Benin City. Yeah, and also they have a pretty good IVF clinic here. So yeah. Okay, so that was why I chose Benin City. And obviously in Benin City, I had to choose UBTH, which is the teaching hospital, because obviously I wanted to get as much variety in my participants as I could. Now, talking about participants, that's going to be in another episode, just because that on its own is probably a 20-minute long rant. But yes, location. Okay, yeah, so the nurses, I would say, the staff, the nurses, the doctors, they've been pretty helpful. They've been quite nice. They were very accepting of me. And again, because my supervisor is quite famous, they were able to, they immediately from reading my proposal and reading my protocol and reading things about my study and the chief investigator, they pretty much recognized his name from reading it immediately. So it was very easy to come in. And then of course you can't come into a workplace in Nigeria without the proper what do I call it, the proper introduction. You kind of have to bring in some offerings to say I am here. So yeah, so I kind of had to also do that, to wet the floor, as they call it, and which was obviously not so difficult. Just a carton of malt and some biscuits, just to say hello and welcome and to be easily accepted into the community, or I'm calling it a community, but it's like just the IVF clinic. So yes, the nurses, they are typical Benin women. Some are from Wari, so they are very, very strict, but they are also very, very nice. The matron is extremely nice. She's very calm. Well, she can be quite stressed, and when she definitely will take it up on you, but she's also really, really nice. So yes, accommodation. Now, that was something I kind of thought that coming here, I would be able to probably stay in one of the doctor's quarters or doctor's residences. But, my dear, if you're coming to Benin City, prepare yourself. When I'm talking about preparing yourself, I'm talking prepare yourself financially, emotionally, every illy you can think about, because it will not be easy. So I thought about staying in the doctor's quarters, and I thought that was where I was going to stay. I thought it was an automatic thing. I thought I could just contact the accommodation office, as I do in Sheffield, and easily just get a place to stay. But my dear, I ended up staying in a guest house. Let me put it that way. So, but it is a pretty, not too bad, but paying 5,000 naira a day for the duration of my research, which is about 3 months. If you calculate that, we're going into almost a million naira, like more than half a million naira. So that one too was not in my budget for this research. But I kind of had to talk to my parents about it. And another thing was the security. My dad was very concerned about my security in Benin City, because apparently the city has a name for itself of being the center of all things not too good. So he was a bit worried about my security, and I was also worried about my security, really, just because I can't be going to walking on the street. And really, when I'm actually walking on the streets, I'm actually a bit quite conscious, just because everyone's looking a bit shady. But but yeah, with all the stories I had heard about Benin City, I kind of knew that I needed to be extremely security conscious, and that also kind of made getting an accommodation a bit tricky. So I decided to eventually stay in the guest house. It's not cheap. It's by no means cheap. So that's another thing in your research. Budget for your accommodation. Budget for it, yes. And your feeding, of course. Well, feeding is not so bad. I'll talk about that in another episode. Feeding is not so bad, but for someone who is monotonous in what they like to eat. But if you're looking for variety, my dear, you've misread. So, yeah, I can't cook. I can't do most of the things I would love to do in the kitchen for myself. It's a bit difficult, really, but at the same time, it's more. I had to think about my security over my comfort, more. Or no, actually, because I'm actually quite comfortable being in the guest house. So, but it's security, comfort over cost of obviously to be cheaper to stay in one of the residences, but then it also implies I have to start buying all my own things newly. I have to buy a mattress, I have to buy bed sheets, I have to buy pots, I have to buy pans, I have to buy cookery and crockery and cooking utensils and all those kind of things. And it would have been a bit difficult to get all that done. So it was certainly a lot easier to just stay in a guest house, really. Oh yeah, and then of course over the weekends, I get to visit my family, so that's also quite nice. Yeah. So yes, that is the end of this particular session. Talking about my study site, I will definitely keep bringing in some things, like talking about the study site is just a few points right now. But obviously, if I'm talking about the participants, I would also include things like the study, participants in UBTH as opposed to participants in another private clinic where I also do some work. So yeah, hope you had a wonderful time watching, and goodbye. Have a wonderful day. Bye.